Hello my dear third prep students, welcome in our new lesson تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Today we are going to start the first episode about the revision. We're going to start the first unit in revision, final revision. We are going to make a discussion about the many important definitions and rules and whatever. Let's start now with Unit 1, which consists of two lessons about chemical reaction and the rate or the speed of chemical reaction, the second lesson. Let's start with some definitions and revise with me and make sure that in next episode to be quite sure that you are studying, so you are going to follow with me during the revision and during answering a lot of questions. Let's start. First, we are going to start with some definitions, as I said. Definitions. The first definition here is the definition of the title of our lesson, which is the chemical reaction. What's meant by chemical reaction? It's very easy. It's a breaking down of bonds between molecules of reactants and formation of new bonds between products or resultants. And I know all of you that you answered it before I answered. Okay, this is our first definition. Second definition here, the thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition is the first type of the chemical reaction, and the word thermal means heat. And what's meant by thermal decomposition, and I said before when we explained the lesson, the meaning of decomposition means breaking down. So breaking down by what? By using heat. So if you go to define it easily, you can define it as now it's a chemical reaction in which involves breaking down of a compound into simplest form or simple elements by the help of heat or by heating. And I said when you're going to make an equation, you are going to put above the equation the triangle which represents the meaning of heat. Second, what's meant by chemical activity series? Chemical activity series, it's very important to know its definition and to know the components of the chemical activity series, the elements that located in it, and how can we use it in solving many kind of questions, especially when we are going to make an equation. First, let's memorize together what's meant by chemical activity series. Chemical activity series, it's the arrangements of elements, especially the metals, in descending order. يعني descending يعني from the strongest to the weakest, من القوي للأضعف, according to the degree of the chemical activity. يعني ازاي هي الأكتف بنحطه at the top and بننزل descending لغاية ما نوصل the weakest one at the bottom. وطبعا هنفكر بعد ان احنا they are made of many metals like قلنا potassium, sodium, barium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, tin and lead, and you have to know it with this sequence. ندرب نفسنا كويس جدا that you have to know the arrangement very well. And then you're going to put the hydrogen, and below hydrogen comes the weakest element, which copper and platinum, chromium, silver, gold, all of them are below hydrogen. And remember that all the elements or the metals that located above hydrogen are very strong. So they can kick the hydrogen out during the chemical reaction and replace it during the chemical reaction. While all that coming below it, they can't replace it. So we are going to say no reaction happens, and we are going to see now questions in the form of this, depending on the chemical activity series. Simple substitution reaction is the first one of the substitution reaction. We said simple, يعني metal replace another metal, يعني between two elements. Okay, يبقى what's meant by simple substitution reaction? Chemical reaction in which one element substitute another elements during the chemical reaction. واحد بيkick the other one and replace it. طبعا لازم sure should be stronger than it. مش هيبقى أضعف who can replace it. Okay. The double substitution reaction, which is the second type of the substitution reaction, عندنا simple and عندنا double. Double substitution reaction it's a chemical reaction that in which happen exchanging between two different compounds. اتنين compound making reaction together, each one of them be replaced بعد في الميتال. كل ميتال ياخد مكان التاني طبعا according مين اللي أقوى هيريبليس تاني. just changing يعني كأن اتنين بيريبليسوا الشيرز بتوعهم أو أماكنهم. اسمه double substitution reaction. Oxidation process. عندنا oxidation and reduction processes are the last type of the chemical reaction. And we said before and explained that the oxidation and reduction reaction, we took it in two concerns. Number one, concerning to giving and taking oxygen, يعني in concerning to the oxygen or hydrogen, and concerning to the losing and gaining of electrons. طب يبقى I have two definitions? Yes. طب some of you tell me, طب when I'm going to put the type of definition, if he told you define either oxidation or reduction, you have to be free that you can use any one of those definitions. But if he stick to you concerning to losing and gaining electrons, يبقى you have to use a definition concerning to losing and gaining. أو لو قال لك concerning to the concentration of the percentage of oxygen and hydrogen, you are going to explain it or define it concerning to this topic. يبقى لازم taken in consideration when read the question until the full stop هو عايزها من أنهي concern. Okay? طب now we have the definition الأولاني chemical process ده oxidation which causes increase in the oxygen. يبقى ده concerning to what? Concerning to the percentage of oxygen. Or at the same time, I said, if the oxygen percent increase, at the same time, what happened to the hydrogen? Decreases. يبقى it's the process in which increasing of oxygen percentage or decreasing in the hydrogen percentage in the substance. Or if I want to define it concerning to the electrons, يبقى it is the process in which atoms loses electrons or more during chemical reaction. Remember when we explained it before, we said عندنا magic word that oil and reg. Oil for oxidation. Oxidation is losing. Remember this word, magic word very well. And reg, reduction is gaining. So if you forgot the definition, put the magic words in front of you and say oil. يبقى ايه? Oxidation is losing and start to define it. Reg, reduction is gaining and start to define it. Okay. طيب, as we did the oxidation, we are going to define reduction by the two ways. In concerning to oxygen, يبقى هشيل كلمة increasing and I put decreasing. It is the process by which or causes decrease in the oxygen percent or increasing the hydrogen percentage. Concerning to the losing and gaining, طيب reg, يبقى reduction is gaining, يبقى chemical process in which the substance of the atom gains electron or more. طب احنا قلنا لما بنعمل البروسيس في agent بيعملوا البروسيس either oxidizing agent or reducing agent. As I explained before, mention the process and then اللي بيحصل له oxidation, اللي بيعمل oxidation على طول بسميه reducing agent, واللي بيحصل له reduction بسميه oxidizing agent. So يبقى here if I want to define oxidizing agent يبقى the substance that gives oxygen. The substance that gives oxygen بسميها oxidizing agent. طب concerning to the losing and gaining يبقى which substance? The substance that gains electron, I will call it oxidizing agent. يبقى very easy. Take in your mind, ما نحفظش. احنا we are going to focus on the process. واعرف البروسيس كويس جدا. I can know الايجنت عكس البروسيس. يعني الاكسيديشن يبقى الاكسيدايزنج ايجنت هو اللي بيعمل gaining للالكترونز. طيب if I want to define a reducing agent by the two ways. Reducing agent is the substance that takes, لأن reduction هي process by a decreasing oxygen. So يبقى هنا في الحالة ديت reducing agent هي substance that takes, اللي بياخد الأكسجين away or gives hydrogen during the chemical reaction. طب concerning to the losing and gaining هسمي reducing agent is the substance that loses electrons during chemical reaction. طيب speed of chemical reaction, معنى كلمة speed of chemical reaction هو الريت يعني سرعة الرياكشن. يبقى speed of chemical reaction it's the change in the concentration of the reactants and the resultant during time. واحنا قبل كده when we discuss it قلنا during the chemical reaction I have a reactant والreactants by the chemical reaction بيحصل لها decreasing وfinally بيطلع لي product. So it decreasing in the reactants and increasing in the product ده بسميه الريت of chemical reaction أو the speed of chemical reaction. So it's the change in the concentration of the reactants and the product during time. طب what's meant by catalyst؟ وده one of the factors that enter during chemical reaction. قلت الكاتاليست ده chemical substance that بتأثر ازاي بتchange the rate of chemical reaction. Okay, either by increasing or decreasing. يعني معنى كده ده له double function. Yes, if I use one of them called positive catalyst يبقى ده بيعمل increasing للchemical reaction. طب if I use a negative catalyst ده بيعمل decreasing للchemical reaction. Sometimes الreaction بيحصل quickly, so I need to use something to يقلل لي الريت of the reaction, فبستعمل which one? I will use the negative catalyst. Sometimes the reaction بيبقى very slow, I have to use positive catalyst to increase the rate of the chemical reaction. So here I have two types, either positive, which is increasing the rate of chemical reaction, and the next one is called negative catalyst that is used to decrease the rate or the speed of chemical reaction. طيب عندي نوع بقى اسمه enzymes. الانزيمز ده it's a catalyst, but natural catalyst. Find where? Find in your body. In your body and responsible for all the biological processes. Most of it. يعني عندنا enzymes that helps في digestion of food. عندنا enzymes تانية helps in during respiration, and all our vital activities بتتحكم فيها enzyme. أقدر أقول catalyst? No. ليه؟ لأن الكاتاليست هو chemical substance بس used during chemical reaction في اللاب, in the lab. أنا I use it in the lab. But enzymes made by God, natural. So what's meant by enzymes? Also, they are substance, chemical substances, but produced by the body of living organisms. موجودة في كل living organisms. وبتعمل إيه؟ increase the speed of chemical reaction. Okay? طيب. Let's now move to what are the type of chemical reaction تقسيمتها. عندي the first type of chemical reaction we took it is the thermal decomposition by heat طبعا. Second is the substitution reaction. Third is oxidation and reduction reaction. طيب وقلنا ال substitution reaction either simple or double. Just بنحط كده map تبقى قدامنا, and I advise you to make it by yourself. Get a piece of paper and make the map and start to under this map put all the equation that you took it during this lesson. كده هيبقى عندك scheme. So السكيمة ديت you are going to use it ليلة الامتحان. Very easy. You can study it from it very easy. So we start to make like this shape in front of you. Then on the under simple second one is substitution reaction, simple and double. طيب let's كده نشوف الثيرمال decomposition. As I said بعد ما أكتبه I will put all the equation. إن الإيكويشن very important. يجي لك question يقول لك write equation represent what أو complete the following equation. Okay, you have to know it. أول حاجة في الثيرمال decomposition we took decomposition of red mercuric oxide. طب let's remember كده بسرعة. الميركوريك oxide by heating HGO by heating والتراينجل يديني 2Hg plus O2. طب الcolored very important to know the colors of the reactants and the product. الميركوريك oxide we start with the red color and we end with silver color of a mercury. This is the first one. Second, copper hydroxide CuOH2 will be decomposed to copper oxide and water. يبقى دايما نعرف الهيدروكسيد بيطلع لنا oxide and water. تمام؟ طب لونه ايه؟ كان blue color hydroxide giving black color of oxide. The third one, copper carbonate, which is CuCO3, decomposed thermally by heat into carbonate. يبقى على طول أعرف هيديني برضو oxide. طب what is the result? Carbon dioxide. I will get the second from the name of the compound. Carbonate يديني carbon dioxide. Sulfate هيديني sulfur trioxide and so on. طب what is the color of this copper carbonate? Green. Color change into black color. اتفقنا ان الكوبر اوكسايد على طول black. We're releasing carbon dioxide. Copper sulfate as I said. طب sulfate هيديني ايه؟ برضو copper oxide وهيطلع لي sulfur trioxide. طب what is the color of the copper sulfate? Blue, and will change into black color, which is copper oxide. Those are the the last one of the thermal decomposition nitrate NaNO3 will be decomposed to nitrite. هشيل واحدة أكسجين NaNO3 تبقى NaNO2 plus الأكسجين دي راحت فين؟ go outside as a bubbles of oxygen. And remember, how can we test for the oxygen? By using glowing splint or a match. We can find that the match will glow up or the glowing splint increasing the glowing. ليه؟ Why? Because oxygen helps in burning. فهيطلع ينور زيادة. والوايت color of sodium nitrate والcolor التاني بيبقى yellowish white color لونه بيج. تمام؟ The second one is the sample substitution reaction, which is very, very important reaction. Our simple substitution here, sodium replaces الهيدروجين في الwater. As I said at the beginning, ده concerning to what? Concerning to the chemical activity series. طالما أنا هنا الصوديوم located where? Above ولا below hydrogen? Above hydrogen, so it can replace hydrogen and kick it out. ده very easy. أنا just إن أنا عارفة مكانه فين في الchemical activity series, so I can know it can replace or no. Here the sodium is up, so it can replace it. طب يدخل مكانه يعمل لي إيه؟ يديني sodium hydroxide. And what is the result? Hydrogen and heat. والهيدروجين ده بيطلع ساكت؟ No. releasing a pop sound. وقلنا ده من أهم الرياكشنز اللي بيجي عليها questions كتير جدا. write the equation أو reaction between sodium and water والهيدروجين بيطلع forming pop sound. Pop sound why? Due to the releasing of hydrogen gas. The second one zinc نفس الكلام. طب الزنك اللوكيشن بتاعه فين؟ برضو above hydrogen. So can replace it? Yes, can replace it. ويديني zinc chloride and resulting the hydrogen outside. Again, aluminum can replace it? Yes, and بيجيب لي برضو aluminium chloride and hydrogen outside. طب في question very important here. Remember, those are the three وكمان the three of them are making reaction and all of them are kicking hydrogen. طيب but here عندي ملحوظة قلناها في give reason why although the aluminum is located above zinc و above zinc in the chemical activity series بس بيبقى أبطأ الرياكشن بيبقى slower. Why? وده very important give reason because aluminium in nature بيبقى covered with a layer of aluminium oxide. So during the reaction it took some time عشان to remove a layer of aluminium oxide from it and then the starting the reaction very violent. يعني بياخد وقت بيبقى أبطأ بس أسرع بعد كده. بيبقى أبطأ شوية بيبتدي بعده بس بيبقى violent وقوي جدا بعديه. ليه؟ لأنه هو أقوى منه في الكيميكال activity series located above it in the chemical activity series. And طب here الكوبر مع الهيدروكلوريك أسيد ينفع؟ Why؟ لا no reaction طبعا. Why? Because the copper located where? Below hydrogen ضعيف cannot replace it as the silver, as the gold, as the platinum and the chromium. كل دول are weak elements so they can't never replace hydrogen during the chemical activity أو the chemical reaction. طيب ده أول نوع من الميتال substitution. تاني نوع المغنيسيوم مع الكوبر سلفيت. هنا two elements they can substitute each other. طب هشوف هنا ايه بقى الملحوظه بتاعتي. if the magnesium is located above the other one او اقوى منه. هنا المغنيسيوم والكوبر مين اقوى؟ مين stronger؟ magnesium because it's located above it so it can replace it. yes هيطرد الكوبر outside as you see here and replace it in the chemical reaction. يعمل لي magnesium sulfate which is colorless and يطلع لي copper as a precipitate يطلع لي لونه reddish brown precipitate. طيب نيجي نشوف السكند double substitution ومن أهم الرياكشنز in the double substitution reaction here is reaction called neutralization reaction وده common question. يجي يقول لي what's meant by neutralization reaction? Very simply هقول له it's a reaction between acid and alkali forming salt and water. وهير السولت مش قصدي بيها السولت الملح لا salt any salt. اوكي يبقى acid plus alkali giving out salt and water. طب تعالوا كده نشوف example. This is acid hydrochloric acid HCl with alkali sodium hydroxide NaOH giving salt sodium chloride plus water. Another one. طيب reaction between acid and salt. هنا غيرنا بقى acid مع salt. acid برضو hydrochloric acid with sodium carbonate give me sodium chloride replace it ولا لا؟ Yes, replace it. طب why? Concentrate with me. Because the sodium here is above hydrogen, can replace it, بس هنا ال other products different عشان أنا بستعمل hydroxide so carbonate فبيطلع لي carbon dioxide ويطلع لي water. Finally between two salts مع بعض silver nitrate مع sodium chloride. طيب they can replace each other as I said before. هيبدلوا الأماكن. So each one بياخد الراديكال اللي جنبه. يبقى هيديني NaNO3 plus AgCl وده اسمه the third one of the double substitution reaction. طيب تعالوا نفتكر بقى مع بعض الأوكسيديشن and reduction reaction بتحصل ازاي. I said before that the oxidation reduction يا إما by giving oxygen أو increasing the oxygen percent and or by losing and gaining. تعالوا نشوف number one by giving oxygen. First here عندي reaction between hydrogen and copper oxide. Which one of those rich in oxygen? As we see طبعا copper oxide. طب here what is the action of the hydrogen? Start to take هيسرق الأكسجين من الكوبر oxide ويطلع على شكل إيه؟ يسيب الكوبر لوحده أن يطلع هو على شكل water. طيب تعالوا بقى نشوف هنا المطلوب مني بقى أنا أحدد مين هنا البروسيسز process والagent. أشوف أنا I said before مين هنا اللي أخذ الأكسجين؟ مين اللي شد الأكسجين؟ هو الهيدروجين. يبقى from the hydrogen to the water الهيدروجين take the oxygen وطلع منتصر اسمه water خد الأكسجين. So here it's oxidation. طب الهيدروجين in this case أسميه إيه؟ أنا I said before اسميه عكس البروسيس يبقى اسمه reducing agent. طب what about الكوبر اوكسايد؟ حرام ده اتاخد منه الاكسجين اتسرق بقى حصل له ايه؟ حصل له reduction. و I said reduction يعني بيتاخد منك الحاجه reduction يعني taken. اوكي طب بسميه ايه بقى اللي اتاخد منه حاجه؟ بسميه oxidizing agent. This is the first one. طيب losing and gaining. I said losing and gaining عندي الماجيك وورد بتاعتي oil and reg. تعالوا نطبقها على البروبلم دي او على الايكويشن دي. عندي reaction between sodium and chlorine to get sodium chloride. تعالوا كده نشوف. الصوديوم هنا بيلوز ولا بيجين؟ الصوديوم هنا ده ميتال والميتالز بتلوزز. سو لما هو بيلوز يبقى حصل له ايه؟ اويل. اويل اوكسيديشن از لوزنج يبقى حصل له اوكسيديشن. يبقى الاكسجين الصوديوم during this chemical reaction حصل له oxidation. الصوديوم حصل له oxidation لأنه حصل له losing. طب هو اتسمى إيه في الحالة دي؟ هو losing اتسرق فقط حاجة يبقى اسمه reducing agent. طب what about الكلورين اللي هو gaining اللي أخد الأكسجين سميها reduction process من الكلورين للكلورين ion حصل reduction. طب سمينا الكلورين في الحالة دي إيه؟ سميناه oxidizing agent. تعالوا كده نتنقل على some important uses استعملناها في الترم ده. الكاتاليست. أول حاجة الكاتاليست قلنا بيوز to إيه؟ to change by increasing or decreasing the chemical reaction. ممكن يقول لي mention the use of the following. طيب إيه example أو the most example خدناه من الكاتاليست كان اسمه manganese dioxide. المنجنيز دايكسايد ده is a very important catalyst بنستخدمه في اللاب. بستخدمه why؟ to speed up reaction during preparation of oxygen. ما باجي بحضر oxygen عشان speed up the reaction بستعمل المنجنيز دايكسايد. بستعمله وبيطلع زي ما هو عشان قلت من صفات properties of the catalyst that enter the chemical reaction and go outside of the chemical reaction without changing in color, in mass, in amount or whatever. just الدور بتاعه ان هو بيأكتيفيت الchemical reaction ويفضل زي ما هو. So what is the manganese dioxide use بتاعته? Acts as a positive catalyst during preparation of oxygen from hydrogen peroxide. طيب الانزيم قلت هو عبارة عن chemical برضه وact as catalyst بس فين؟ inside the body لأنه مسؤول عن البيولوجيكال processes. طب لو جاء لي compare between catalyst and enzyme هعمل ايه؟ هقول له هقول لي definition بتاع الاثنين. الكاتاليست هو it's a chemical substance that used to change the rate of chemical reaction. طيب هقول الانزيم ايه؟ it's a chemical substance that used to activate أو change the rate of the biological processes inside the body. يبقى لازم افهم الفرق بين ده وده. طب ايه الاكزامبل اوف ذا انزيم اللي عندنا اللي استخدمناه؟ اسمه اوكسيديز انزيم. اوكسيديز انزيم ده اكت از بالظبط زي المنجنيز دايوكسيد اللي استخدمناه في اللاب، بس ده موجود في الطبيعه. موجود كان في ايه؟ لو نفتكر في السويت بوتيتو لما استعملناها in case of production of oxygen during the chemical reaction. نيجي ناخد حاجه تانية اللي هي الفاكتورز affecting the speed of the chemical reaction. ايه الفاكتورز اللي affecting speed of the chemical reaction؟ قلنا النيتشر of the reactants، والنيتشر دي تيجي تحتها 2 points. ايه هم ال 2 points دول؟ either the kind of bonding either ionic or covalent، وقلنا دايما ال speed of chemical reaction is أسرع في الايونيك عن in حالة الايه؟ الكوفالنت، عشان دي between ions and this is between molecule، وده common question. and second السيرفيس اريا. لو عندي السيرفيس اريا كل ما كانت السيرفيس اريا بتاعتي كبيره، يعني مش واخده بلوك اوف شوجر مفتفته عامله له كرانشنج كده، هلاقي ان الرياكشن بيبقى مور سبيد بتاعته اسرع. ليه؟ because I increase the surface area of the reaction. طب number 2 concentration. كل ما concentration of the reactants بتزيد كل ما الرياكشن بيبقى اسرع. temperature. لو انا استخدمت heating بسرع الرياكشن. الكاتاليست طبعا if I use it I speed up the chemical reaction. طب بسرعه كده ناخد some kind of question كده. اول question عندنا هنا write scientific term. بيقول لي chemical reaction in which the compound is decomposed by heat into simple components. ايه؟ طالما لقيت heat يبقى هنا على طول يبقى thermal decomposition. Second question, change in the concentration of the reactants and product by time. طالما لقيت كلمة change يبقى على طول هو الانسر is the speed أو the rate of chemical reaction. طب ايه هي substances that increases the speed of the chemical reaction without any changes؟ لسه as I said now هي مين؟ هي الكاتاليست. Chemical processes in which the atom of the elements gain one or more electron. ايه هي الكيميكال بروسيس بيحصل فيها gaining؟ يبقى يبقى هي which one؟ الريدكشن. Breaking up of bonds between reactants and formation of new bonds between products. يبقى الانسر is what؟ It's the it's the chemical reaction. طيب let's see هنا another type of question. Look to the following equation. هنا بيقول لي x تديني 2y plus half x. The opposite graph here represent products by time. طيب وبيسألني هنا مديني جراف ومديني equation وهيسألني عليها شوية أسئلة، والسؤال ده بيجي على طول. أول حاجة بيسألني write the name of the compound or elements which the number indicated. طب x هنا x ده مين؟ ده الرياكتنس ولا البرودكتس؟ x هو نمبر 1 لأن هو بيديكريز. طيب الباقي y z هو 2. طب y أنا قلت z 2 و y هو 3. ليه؟ علشان عندي half z وعندي التاني كميته أكتر 2y so it's the amount أكتر. Thank you for your good listening and I hope that you enjoyed. Study well and see you next time and goodbye.